All right. Here we go. Happy Saturday, everybody. Anybody that happens to watch this after the fact or, you know, comes here, skips to the front real quick, make sure they see everything. What's going on? Happy Saturday. Hope you're doing well. We're just chilling today. Nothing crazy. I know the injury report for the Colts came out. And obviously the Packers as well. Those final injury reports came out yesterday, and was just unable to get that to you guys because of my day job. So figured, hey, we're gonna do injury reports today anyways. Might as well stream. There was some other stuff that I saw on Twitter through the week that I wanted to show you guys, and some of the stuff, couldn't show you guys what I wanted to because the Colts put a lot of copyrighted music in a lot of their stuff, so you can't do all that. But do have some stuff I want to show you. But of course, going to start with the injury reports. So let me click over here and let me click boom. Okay. So this is what we're looking at for the injury reports, right? And as you can see here, you have all these Packers players. Most of them didn't get designations, but you have Marshawn Lloyd, who is questionable going into the game. Jordan Love, who's questionable but did not practice all week. And then you have Jaden Reed, who is a limited participant only on Friday. It'll be interesting to see, does he play or not? Injury popping up on Friday at practice. So, Jaden Reed, if he was out, that would certainly help us. I have him on my fantasy team, and he went off last week while he was on my bench. Didn't know whether what he did in 2023 would translate over to 2024, and it did. So, and we'll see, does it translate from Jordan Love to Malik Willis? I think with the ball in his hands, he's one of the better players in the NFL with the ball in his hands in terms of playmaking, his speed, his agility. Like Jaden Reed is a very dangerous player, right? Had an end around last week against the Eagles that was, he had one rush for 33 yards and a touchdown. Right, just because he's good enough to set people up and being able to evade people. So Jaden Reed, very good. We'll see exactly what the extent of that is. It's a calf shin injury, so that could be a tricky injury. But my guess is he's probably going to play. Jordan Love, probably not going to play. But in the same sense, I guess there's a chance, right? There's always a chance that he ends up playing as long as they list him as questionable. That's probably more gamesmanship than anything. So kind of do expect Malik Willis, but that's what we're looking at there. Quay Walker going to play. Edrin Cooper, Kenny Clark, Josh Jacobs, they're all good to go. Then here for the Colts. This is what we're looking at, where we have Julian Blackmon with that shoulder injury, did not practice all week, and he is out this upcoming week. DeForest Buckner did not practice all week with the back injury, which we kind of expected, but he's listed as questionable. And this one is up in the air because DeForest is known to play through injuries. He's also been known to not practice through the week and still be able to play while he's rehabbing his injuries. They did locker talk for the Colts, kind of press conferences, just going around the locker room real quick. And DeForest said that he feels good, feels a lot better than Monday. He's progressing well and is going to try to be there for Sunday. And that's obviously a lot of that. His gamesmanship, he's saying that to be a good teammate and because it's in the media. But nonetheless, hopefully he's able to play. Back injuries for offensive and defensive linemen are tricky. Right? We saw Quentin Nelson. He played through a back injury, and it diminished what he was able to do. Is a slightly diminished DeForest Buckner still better than what's behind him? Probably, yeah. So, hopefully DeForest able to play, but we'll see what happens. I assume that's going to be like a game time decision. We'll find out right around 11:30 on Sunday whether or not he's going to be playing when they list the inactives for the game. Josh Downs, ankle injury, limited, and then full participant. He's questionable, but the expectation is for him to be able to play this week, which is great news, especially with the way the defense might look. If we have Julian Blackmon and DeForest Buckner out, the way the defense is going to be, we need all hands on deck. Having Josh Downs back with the role that he plays in the offense and being such a vital piece of that offense, it's going to be really important to get him back in the game. So having Josh Downs presumably having Josh Downs going to be really nice for us this week. Also looks like Matt Gay is going to be back. He was full participant all week, no designation, so Matt Gay going to be coming back this week, which means Spencer Schrader not going to be getting called up again. Then Kwity Paye going to be questionable, did not practice, and then was a limited participant in practice on Friday, so we'll see with him. He was at least able to get back on the field a little bit. He's been here for 4 years, the entire time Gus has been here, Quity's been here. So at this point, kind of the veteran player able to take some days off, still be able to play. Again, we'll see what happens with this. But those are three staples on the defense, right? And Kwity, not from even pass rushing standpoint, his sack numbers have gone up every year. But like missing out on a guy like Kwity in the run game is something that could affect us. Now, the good news is that we still have Tyquan Lewis. We still have Dio Dingbo. And I would think if Kwity Paye doesn't play, we're going to get a lot of Latu, right? And he's going to be on the field at that Leo position the entire game, I assume. Him and Dio switching back and forth. So in that regard, hey, maybe it'd be okay. But again, Kwity Paye in the role that he plays, especially in the run game, as a defensive end, he's always been good in the run game. So it'll be interesting. Will he play? Will he not? Seems like he has a pretty good chance of playing. But right now, it just looks like Julian Blackmon definitely out. DeForest Buckner really up in the air. But then these other guys, I expect to be able to play. So coming into this game, right, and talking about the injuries and how do the injuries affect, what's going to happen on Sunday. You look at what Joe Mixon was able to do against us and everything, right? 156 yards. Also added, I think he had like 172 or 182, something like that, yards total in the game. Having another running back to go up against like that, right? Now it's Josh Jacobs, where last week against the Eagles in the first half, Josh Jacobs looked washed. I thought the Raiders made a really good decision not paying him. And then you go into the second half, he gets some bigger runs. One of them was a 30-something yard run, and without that, his average is 3 yards a rush. So, I guess still kind of not great. Of course, we have to limit the big plays. But at the same time, like Josh Jacobs knows this team. Josh Jacobs, we've played the Raiders every year for the last few years. Josh Jacobs knows the defense. He knows what he's going up against with us. And he's going to be able to help that Packers team keep possessions going if we can't stop them. We have to be able to stop. In years past, we always have been. We haven't had to worry about stopping the run in quite a while. Now, during the Peyton years, we had to worry about stopping the run all the time. That was our kryptonite, was the run game. Get to the playoffs, can't win because you can't stop the run. So, coming into this game, coming in against Malik Willis, who's a quarterback that can run the ball, going up against Josh Jacobs, with the situation being what it is, you would expect it's going to be 8-man boxes all day. Excuse me. So, what's that going to be? With Julian Blackmon out, it's going to be probably Nick Cross and Rodney Thomas are going to be the guys at safety. That's what I would assume is going to happen here. So with that being the case, then I would think Nick Cross going to be in the box pretty much all day long. I also expect Ronnie Harrison to potentially be on the field quite a bit in this upcoming game. Now, obviously, if they activate him, he was brought in on the practice squad, not elevated to the active roster at this point. So we'll see what happens with that situation. But this feels like a good time to bring Ronnie Harrison up with the situation, with as much as they may run the ball, with the troubles we had against the run. Get all hands on deck on the defense too. If you can stop the run game and keep the hands or keep the ball out of the playmakers' hands for the Packers, then we have a good shot. Now that's easier said than done, but Malik Willis, what he brings, we just have to make sure we're not letting guys get open in the first couple seconds, which is the part that worries me coming into this game. With the scheme that we play on defense, right? We give guys cushion in this defense. It's to keep everything in front of you. Well, the guys on this team, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, and Jaden Reed, if they get the ball in their hands, they can make guys miss. They could run through tackles. So, that it feels like, even though we should win this game, it feels like it might be a bad matchup. So as much as I think the Colts, again, should come in, we should win this game, 38 to 10, right? That wouldn't surprise me if we did win the game like that. But will we win the game like that is the question. I'm not sure, because of how the defense looked last week, if we have the capability of being able to do that this upcoming week. It just worries me, right? Sitting here looking. Charles, what's going on? Daniel, what's going on? Appreciate y'all stopping by. Just hanging out on a Saturday. Feels like a lot of people probably watching college football right now. But I'm not really a college fan, so figure out, hey, what the hell? Let's go talk about the Colts. Heard Luck was going to play for Miami. I would assume that's probably fake, but Miami, Florida doesn't have state tax. And look at the weapons they have. Andrew Luck would be able to play with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Like, that'd be pretty exciting. Devon Achane in the backfield. And Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson whenever they're healthy. So, it'd be cool. I could see him thinking about going to play in Miami, good weather and whatnot. But I would assume that's fake. They're probably looking at Tannehill and Jimmy Garoppolo as guys to go in there and try to fill up that quarterback room a little bit. But I also don't know what the Miami cap situation is. So, for all I know, they have no money to pay anybody. I have no idea. I see lots of short underneath passes to take advantage of the cushion. That's what I'm thinking all day long. You're just short completions all day long. Is what I'm thinking, because we give them that cushion, and then the guys are able to get the ball in their hands, and then it's just like an extension of the run game type deal. That's what they're going to do to us, extension of the run game. So in that instance, they're getting 6, 7, 8 yards or more every time they're touching the ball, because these guys are so good with the ball in their hands. That's exactly what I'm afraid of right there. Irsay paid Luck when he retired. I don't see any way. That's fair. That's fair, and I guess he has said in the past, Irsay has said in the past, that, or maybe it was Ballard that said that if Andrew Luck ever does come back, it's only going to be for the horseshoe. So I'm down with that. Or, I don't know what Miami's draft capital looks like over the next few years. I know the Tyreek Hill trade, they gave up a lot. So, but I think it's been a couple seasons, right? So maybe they do have some first-round draft capital to give away. They want to come get Andrew Luck and let Andrew Luck carry him for the rest of the season. Hey, come in with first-round pick next year, first-round pick the year after that, and some more draft picks after that. Yeah, maybe. Sam to Miami, yeah, that'd be cool. Send Sam to Miami. See, my fear is that people like the Dolphins are going to really start to come after Joe Flacco. And it feels like, hey, if there's something good enough for Joe Flacco, a team feels like they can win now, they just need a quarterback that can help them, and they can get Joe Flacco quarterback that could do what Joe Flacco did last year with the Browns, right? Made that team look completely different on offense. Can he go to Miami and do the same thing? Will they have something to send back to us that would be good enough and lure him away, right? With the potential of possibly needing a backup quarterback when you have a mobile quarterback like Anthony Richardson, they would have to send a lot, I think. But, I'm more fearful of Joe Flacco getting poached from us than Sam. But I do think Sam is somebody that should be on the trade block, right? When you have Jason Bean on the practice squad, Sam should be somebody. And I feel like that's a lot of the reason they decided to keep Sam is for any of these teams that do end up needing a quarterback or need to upgrade the quarterback room in case they're dealing with their starter getting hurt and now they're worried about what if our backup gets hurt? Do we want to turn to somebody or can we go get somebody for super cheap, right? Even if you trade Sam for a 6th round pick or a 7th round pick in 2026, like getting anything back from a guy that you have no intention of playing, that you were never going to pay, you were going to let him go after his rookie contract. Like if you can just go ahead and get a guy, get something for a guy like that, then I think that's what you should do. Should Tua retire? I'm somebody, so I'm biased in this regard. I can remember being younger, and when I was growing up, like we didn't really worry about concussions, right? But knowing the symptoms of having a concussion, and I think back to a couple times when I was in grade school. There was one time I was in 3rd or 4th grade, and I can remember, getting the headache and getting the spins, from getting a concussion. Just thought, that's what it was like getting your bell rung, right? And then I remember I was in 6th grade, and it was my first practice in 6th grade. I got asked a little late. Actually, didn't get asked that year. I had to, ask my uncle because he was the coach at the time. I asked my uncle, like, hey, can I play forward? Maybe I asked my dad, and he asked my uncle, whatever it was. But I had asked, hey, can I play football this year? Like, why did I not get signed up to play football? Can I do that? And since my uncle was a coach, I was able to get in on the team. It was my first practice with that team, and that team had a lot of big dudes. Like that team should have been really good. We dealt with a lot of injuries that year, but we had some big dudes, and a lot of them cool dudes, and a lot of our friends, me and my cousin, a lot of our friends were on that team, but it was a lot of big dudes, right? And where this all goes is getting a concussion in that first practice. I got really sick, got a really bad headache, started throwing up, got really sick from it. So then that leads in to, as I continue to get older, my freshman year of high school, it was actually, we had played all our games. And then the freshmen had 1 week of practice left until the season was over. That 1 week of practice was so that we could see who the 10 freshmen were that were going to dress with the varsity team going into the first playoff game. So we were practicing, and I got in on the field, and the varsity running back, he was a senior at the time, and he was jacked. He wasn't big, like huge by any means. He was like maybe 5'11", but dude was jacked, and just ran full head of steam. And when we collided, helmet to helmet, and he ran me over. But I don't remember much of what happened. I just remember, the collision, or us coming at each other, and then being on the ground with people helping me up. So. And then obviously concussion there. That was the last time I ever played organized football, right? Never played football like that again. Obviously playing backyard football is a different thing. You're not, colliding your head all the time, and not using your head as a weapon on defense, that kind of thing. But that was the last time I ever played football because of concussions. So where this goes back to, should Tua retire? I think with 5 concussions, and you look at the concussions that he's had, and I saw the clip of all his concussions just the other day, the way his head has been slammed against the ground, it's not, at some point, right, it's starting to get to a point where it's starting to get dangerous for you. And it's just like a fighter who takes, a couple of hard knockouts. After that, like, it starts to get easier to knock them out. It's just over time we've learned it's easier to knock them out. So when you look at this last play by Tua, The concussions that he's had before, you look at that. Then you look at this last play. Like, as soon as he went in for that contact, as I was watching the game, I knew he was done for. I knew he was done for, because of his previous history and what I know of concussions. And he went in and boom, he hurts himself. And a guy like that has to slide. Quarterbacks are protected, man. You can go into it and you can slide, and they can't touch you. Like, that's just what it is. But instead, he went in, and granted, he just went in like putting his shoulder down. Putting your shoulder down and putting your head into somebody is two different things. He went in, put his head down, and had his whole head like smashed up against him like that. So it's turning his neck and corking his neck a little bit. It's not the way to run the ball. He should have slid right there. But it's an instance like that where you see just how easy it is for him to get a concussion. And that's the problem going forward. It's not going to get any better. It's not going to get any better for Tua. So, as somebody who's dealt with concussions, as somebody who deals with the migraines that comes from repeated concussions, especially at such a young age, who knows if Tua's had any more documented concussions when he was younger, right? Growing up playing football, who knows? But what I do know is that when you see, again, the contact that caused him to get a concussion, that a lot of guys have that play happen to them. And a lot of guys get up from it. Tua getting a concussion that easy is not good. In my opinion, Tua has more than enough money, right? Again, Florida doesn't have state tax. Of all the contracts in the NFL, like, you look at his contract, he gets a pretty large percentage of his contract compared to other, states and what they do in the United States. So, in my opinion, Tua, with all the money that he has, assuming he can get into business ventures, right? He's, a clean-cut guy, very well-spoken. There are a lot of things Tua could do. So, I think Tua should probably think about retirement now. That's from, just a general health aspect. There's also the aspect of he's a competitor, and obviously it's going to be his decision, right? And I'm not trying to intrude on that whole thing, but being asked the question, I do have an opinion on it. There is the competitor aspect of it, right? He's a football player. This is what he's always wanted to do. He finally got the contract. He wants to be able to win a Super Bowl, right? Everybody has those dreams. He wants to live out his dreams and wants to continue to play football. So there is that aspect of it. So will he retire? Probably not. He's probably going to continue to go. It's just, like, as a football spectator, I almost don't even want to watch the Dolphins because I don't want to see the next time it happens, right? Like, again, as somebody that's had to go through, somebody that's dealt with it, because it's not fun. Dealing with the migraines that come from it is not fun. There have been time, like, and sometimes medicine doesn't work, and those are the nights that really make you regret ever even playing football. As much as I love the game, as much as I would never change it because I love the game, there are those days. So, Tua, if he feels like it's worth the sacrifice, then by all means, he shouldn't retire. But, I gave it up as a freshman in high school. So, I do think Tua should probably retire at this point. I don't think Flacco or Sam can take this team the distance if AR goes down. So if we can get some decent trade value for... See, I kind of disagree. I think Joe Flacco has shown in his career, right, whether it was with the Ravens, obviously he he won the Super Bowl. He was Super Bowl MVP. Whether it was winning a Super Bowl or with the Ravens, or whether it was his role with the Browns last year, I think Joe Flacco has shown when he has complimentary team around him, he's kind of the ideal quarterback, because a lot of Joe Flacco's game is taking what the defenses give you, and he's going to make a lot of good decisions, but he also has a little bit of Brett Favre in him. Okay, where he can throw the ball. He can throw the ball probably not as far as AR anymore. In his early years, he could definitely throw the ball 65 yards. But still, he's somebody who can push the ball down the field and can push the ball down the field more than a lot of guys in the NFL. You know, he could still probably throw 55 yards. I think he had a throw last year, a couple throws last year. Yeah, that's right. He had a throw in his first game back with the Browns. It was an incompletion. But I know Pat McAfee had joked how it was a throw where he was just showing people that he still had it, right? Comes in, overthrew his receiver by like 10 yards. It was like a 60-yard throw. So Joe Flacco, with his veteran presence, right? He's been around the NFL. He knows how to attack certain defenses. I think Joe Flacco is a really good backup to have in terms of the decisions he makes. They're not always going to be good. He came in last year, still had like 6 interceptions or something in a limited amount of time he was playing. But for all the gunslinger, Brett Favre type moments that you're going to get from a Joe Flacco, he also brings some elements to the game that AR can bring with his arm. And I think that Joe Flacco can help us win games. So from that aspect, I do disagree. But that turns us to some of the stuff. Okay, Joe Flacco has a nice arm. He doesn't have an arm like our guy has an arm. Okay, watch this. This is the roof angle of the AR play. Okay, where he slips, gets up, gathers himself, and yaks this thing. Now, this video with the audio is really good. It's copyrighted music, so I can't play it. But, I mean, dude, that is a play that I don't know how many people on the planet are able to do. I can throw the ball really far. Like, I can throw the ball far. I don't know if I can do – sorry about that. I don't know if I can do what AR was able to do right there. Like, this is incredible. And I've watched I've watched this play plenty of times throughout this week. I've watched this angle at least 100 times. This was such an incredible play. Oh, I'll just let you guys keep watching that. I gotta fix this light real quick. I think I got it. Okay. Yeah, that right there, dude, this play is so ridiculous. Like, literally, I could just continue to watch. It's just such a beautiful throw. Alec Pierce being able to make the play. Like, the fact that he hit him on the run 65 yards down the field is ridiculous. Ridiculous what could happen there. Let's see. Reggie, what's going on, man? Doubt we would get any value in the trade. Best value is having him as a backup. Yeah, 100%. And, there's a possibility, again, same as trading Sam away. If you were to trade Sam away, you're probably getting back, a 6th or 7th round pick in 2026, So, maybe it's the same thing for Joe Flacco. It's not like you're getting much back. Could you get anything? I honestly don't know if anybody's trading for Joe Flacco. Maybe just somebody in a really win-now situation would want to do that. Man, what was my prediction? I had the game preview video yesterday where I did my prediction on what the Colts, what the score would be. And see, there's 2 different ways that game could go. You have the score prediction where we do what we should do, and we end up winning that game 38-10. I don't remember what my exact prediction was, but I think it was 30. I think I picked it 38-13 maybe. 38-13 was my prediction because they would, move the ball down the field a couple times, get a touchdown, get a couple field goals because Malik Willis can't get the ball in the end zone once they get to the red zone. That was my prediction, but there's also where it might be a bad matchup for us. So, if it could be close. That's all I'm going to say. It could be close. The way the defense looked last year, dude, wouldn't be completely surprised if we lost the game, to be completely honest with you. Our offense should be good enough to carry us, is what I'll say. If we lose this game, particularly because of the defense, then it's going to get real loud real quick, right? Like in Colts land, for Colts fans, like we've been talking about the defense not being good enough. Michael Lombardi talking about the defense on the Pat McAfee show made this a national topic. So it's going to get real loud if the Packers come in, score like 27, 30 points on us and win this game. Going to get real loud. And I'll be very interested to see what happens once it does get loud. Okay, but then as we continue here, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see that, but I will read it here. It's Joel Erickson saying, Leatu Latu was credited with 5 pressures in his debut, according to Sports Info. SIS, which I think is Sports Illustrated. A team best, despite only playing 39% of the snaps. So Latu only on the field for 39% of the Colts snaps. So for all the people saying, oh, Latu didn't have an effect on the game. Yeah, well, Gus Bradley being Gus Bradley, not putting his best 11 on the field for most of the game. Latu only plays 39% of the snaps, but had 5 pressures through that. So there you go. Having as much as an effect as Gus Bradley will allow him to have. Okay, and then another one here. Anthony Richardson's 60-yard touchdown pass to Alec Pierce, most impressive stat. 21.21 miles per hour. That's what Alec Pierce topped out at after his inward cut on this post route. To put it into perspective, we all thought Chiefs wide receiver Xavier Worthy's jet sweep speed on Thursday was game-breaking. He topped out at 18.45, almost 3 miles per hour slower than Alec Pierce. Tyreek Hill's career-long 80-yard touchdown catch from Tua only saw Tyreek top out at 20.42, which is more impressive, honestly. The end around to Xavier Worthy, I didn't think was game-breaking. I know they're saying that there. I didn't think so. But Tyreek Hill only getting up 20. And then you have Alec Pierce almost a mile per hour faster. Alec Pierce was flying. We have our deep threat, and we have a guy that can get him the ball. Let's see. Let's go on. It would depend on value in the trade. Sunday, Anthony Richardson will show how this team is a winner. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping Anthony Richardson comes in, right, takes advantage of what's there. Now, there is hope. Okay, some of the throws that Anthony Richardson missed were because of the slippery turf, right? The new turf, it doesn't have rubber pellets in it. It has some sort of coconut something in it, and the field is slick. We saw that the field was slick, and it affected our receivers. Kylan Granson slipping. A.D. Mitchell on 1 or 2 of his routes had slipped, right? It wasn't as bad as it looked. AR could have hit some of those passes if the receivers don't slip. So coming into this game, especially with Josh Downs presumably coming back, I think there's going to be a really good shot for us to have an effective offense, for us to have an efficient offense, the big play. See, the thing is, the Texans were guarding against the run. So with them wanting to guard against the run in AR and JT, the deep threat was able to be there, and we were able to protect enough for us to hit those deep shots. So coming into this, it'll be interesting. The Packers have a new defensive coordinator. There isn't a whole lot of tape to go off of. There isn't a whole lot of tendencies to gain from the new defensive coordinator in the NFL. So the question is, how will the Packers adjust to what we were able to do week 1? How much will they guard against the deep passes? And will we be able to run the ball better? Will we be able to get Pittman and Downs more involved underneath and intermediate and in that range? Will we be able to do that? So it's really going to depend on how they want to defend us, right? Are they going to load the box to take away the run and make us try to beat them deep? We could do that. We showed we could do that. I think, we have a tall tat. Rashawn Gary and Preston Smith are some good edge rushers. So it's a tall task. We had a tall task last week. So I think we'll be able to do good against this defensive line from a pass protection standpoint. We just have to be able to run the ball. But again, that's going to depend on whether or not we get lighter boxes. So what the offense does, Anthony Richardson, what he's able to do, I think we'll have better opportunity to make plays in this game because the turf isn't affecting our wide receivers. It's unfortunate that that's a turf we're going to have to deal with at home all year. We're going to have to figure out a way, and hopefully we're able to tweak the turf in between games of not playing at Lucas Oil. Hey, maybe we can figure out how to not have it be so slick for everybody. But at the same time, what can we do going into these games in our own stadium, right? What cleats do we have to wear to be at our best, right? We got to figure this out going into the next game at Lucas Oil to be better. But I do think the offense is overall going to be more efficient in this game in Green Bay. I could see it being close or a blowout. Yeah, 100% Reg. Either way, man. Defense being unpredictable is like the worst feeling as a football fan. Like you want to know what your defense is going to do, which has been what we had for the most part. Like, at least in years past, we knew as long as DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart are playing, we're going to have good run defense. Where we've only been worried about the secondary has burned us in years past, plenty. But we've always known, hey, we can stop the run. We just got to worry about what's going to happen in the pass game. And now, after week 1, we had all hands on deck. And Joe Mixon went for 156. So there's obviously some correction that has to happen coming in this game with the Packers. But again, I would load the box. If I'm Gus Bradley, I'm loading the box. I guess it's not what he does, but like you got to stop giving so much cushion. You can't let these guys get the ball in their hands and make plays. You just can't. You just can't do it. So we just got to be more aggressive. At some point, head coach has to take priority and be like, this is what we need to do on defense. I understand what you want to do, but you need to adapt. You're being a real boomer right now. You need to stop being a boomer. You need to adjust and you know, at some point you have to change your ways. You have to, or else you're going to get pushed out. More Latu, less Brian. Yeah. Like they rolled with they have packages with Dio in the middle. They have packages with Tyquan Lewis in the middle, and you can put Latu on the end. You don't have to have Taven Bryan in the game. Like you don't have to have Taven Bryan on the team at all, but you definitely don't have to have Taven Bryan on the field. Like, what are we doing? You know, I completely agree with that. Concerning lots of slips. Yeah, 100%. It's where AR's consistency plays a part. Execute those progression plays. Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. Jab, jab, jab to set up for the KO. That is exactly right, which is why the run game has to work. You need the run game and the short game to be able to work so that they have to be concerned about it so that Alec Pierce and A.D. Mitchell can hit those double moves and get down the field. So that's really what we're looking for. And I like that you said consistency, right? That's what we've been talking about here on this channel. That's the word of the year for the Colts is consistency. Here on this channel, that's what we're preaching is consistency. We have to be more consistent offensively, defensively. Everything we do needs to be consistent. And that's why one of the things I trust Shane so much, right? I trust Shane and this coaching staff to be consistent with what they're teaching, with what they're preaching. And I think it's good enough coaching that, the consistency will come. We have a very young team, so the consistency will come as we continue to go. Yeah, really like that comment. With the secondary and Shameless, might as well play Latu a bunch. Exactly, yeah, because you have to be able to get the quarterback. If your secondary is not great, you have to have a dominating pass rush. You have to make the quarterback uncomfortable, especially with a guy like Malik Willis. Malik Willis, the knock on him is read progression. He doesn't progress in his reads enough. By the time he is progressing in his reads, he has to move off his spot, and then he's having to make plays on the run, or he's doesn't have time to get away and has to make a quick decision, and gets the ball away and it's inaccurate. He's overthrowing guys, or putting the ball at guys' feet and they can't get it. Whatever the case may be, you have to make Malik Willis uncomfortable in this game. That's going to be the way to win. That's the way to win every week. Look at the Steelers, man. Steelers' offense has been trash for years. They're able to win games because their defensive line, TJ Watt specifically, is able to get pressure on guys. You need Latu to get the reps. Okay? Same as TJ Watt. TJ Watt didn't come into the league down. He came into the league good and got progressively better until he got to Hall of Fame level defensive player of the year every year kind of guy. Okay? Latu is a lot like TJ Watt. Put him on the field. Let him get the reps. By the end of the season, right, or by mid-season, if you give him 85% of the plays, and you do that by the by midpoint of the season, Latu's going to be easy defensive player front runner. He's going to be getting so many pressures. He's going to be getting so many sacks. You got to take the leash off these guys. I know you want to do this whole, we got to balance our rush attack. You can only, we want to have all our guys getting in so that nobody's getting too tired. Dude, it's football. The way things have always been, the best 11 are on the field. That's the way it is in high school. When you're in high school, if you're one of the best 11 on offense, you're playing. Best 11 on defense, you don't do rotations. In college, most teams don't do heavy rotations because depth isn't like that. In the NFL, I know we like a lot of our edge rushers. When you have somebody like Latu, you have to play him. When you have somebody, you have to play him. Right? That's like saying, oh, we're just going to rotate. Let's rotate quarterbacks. As great as our quarterback is, let's just rotate him. Just because we don't want him to get tired through the season. It's football, man. That's what we do. All right? When you play, you know what you're signing up for when you play football. So, I don't know why Latu doesn't get on the field, but we have to get him on the field. Hey, Skull Zone, I assume you're a Packers fan. Appreciate you for stopping by, man. Appreciate you subscribing. Hell yeah, brother. You guys look pretty good against the Giants, nonetheless. But guys look pretty good last week against the Giants. Let's see, Gus just needs to let them play. Stop making them react to the offense. Exactly. Let them attack. We have the guys to attack. Let them attack. You don't draft a bunch of dogs just to keep them on the leash. Right? I feel like that's the easiest analogy I have. You drafted a bunch of dogs, take them off the leash. So, and as Gus just doesn't do it. I don't know why he doesn't do it. It's 2024, brother, not 2014. You got to change at some point. You got to change at some point. Yeah, we did, but the Niners are world beaters. Niners, yeah, that's a tough test. But I did hear, and I didn't hear the exact stat, but I do know that people are talking about how the 49ers never win in Minnesota. I don't know how true that is, but I know it's like that. And that's just like the Colts always beat the Chiefs for some reason. Right? Even in 2022, when the Colts were absolutely one of the worst teams in the league, we somehow beat the Chiefs. Even when we had Jacoby Brissett in Kansas City, we beat the Chiefs. So who knows? Niners in Minnesota. That's just like the Colts in Jacksonville. We haven't won in Jacksonville in like 9 years. It'd be like that sometimes. Since 92. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Weird stuff happens, man. Weird stuff happens. How about we get ARs some more repetitions too? Can't win. Yeah, well, I think we only ran like 58 plays on offense or 47. I don't know. I was going through a couple different teams, and there was some really lopsided stuff I saw. Can't remember exactly. But the Colts offense wasn't on the field for anywhere near enough plays. Now, and part of that is being explosive. That's why you need to be more more efficient with the ball, right? Like those being fun and being explosive is great, but it forced us to have shorter drives, right? The Alec Pierce touchdown and the Alec Pierce deep ball, those drives were shorter, which meant less plays for the offense, more plays for the defense, because our defense is predicated on keeping everything in front of them. So when we can't get off the field on third down, now we have longer drives on defense. So the defense didn't do their part either. But because the offense wasn't able to be efficient, because the offense only was able to get scores from deep plays, meant shorter drives the whole way, which made the defense be on the field. So a little cat and mouse there, a little bit of gamesmanship to be played there. But offense, defense both have to do their part in order for the offense to be able to get more reps. Gorilla Tag, what's going on, man? Appreciate you stopping by. I know a lot of people, probably watching college football and whatnot, but I appreciate everybody that stops by here on a Saturday afternoon. Colts have a good chance of winning tomorrow. I think Green Bay play really conservative. Yeah, that's how I feel. And see, and the issue, Skull, is that because of the way Gus Bradley's scheme works, and because we play off and keep everything in front of us, the playmakers for the pack, they could just do slants all day and screens all day. But because Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs, and Christian Watson are so good with the ball in their hands, it's a little bit scary. Because we're going to play off and let them get the ball in their hands. They can do the run after the catch. So it's a little bit worrisome here for Colts fans. Yeah, beat the Chiefs with Matt Ryan. I don't know how that happened. But, oh, yeah, that's right, because the penalty at the end. And the Jelani Woods career game. The one that made us all think Jelani Woods was going to have an incredible career. Let's see. Let's hit the like button, guys. Hey, appreciate you, Skull. Yeah, hitting the like button is really good for the channel, whether it's live streams on any videos we drop. Just so y'all know, the like button, really good for the YouTube algorithm. Obviously, so is hitting the subscribe button. Obviously, great for the algorithm. Got to extend drives, yep. How many yards do you give Taylor tomorrow? See, in my game plan video early this week, Skull, I had talked about how Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson should combine for at least 150 rushing yards. If we're going to be efficient, if we're going to be the offense we need to be, and ideally we're winning most of this game, if we're going to be on the field more, we need to get Jonathan Taylor involved. And if we're getting Jonathan Taylor involved, the deep shots are going to be there, right? You can't let Jonathan Taylor go 16 carries, 48 yards. Offensively, you have to get Jonathan Taylor going. So, in my opinion, Jonathan Taylor should come into this game, especially with the Packers unable to stop the run. For years, they've been bad against the run. Saquon Barkley had 3 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor should have a great game. Okay, I am betting on Jonathan Taylor having a great game. See, Gilmore had a legacy game, and that line had Mahomes uncomfortable all game. Yeah, see, and that the year I forgot we had Gilmore that year. Yeah, and I mean, even that year, the defense, you could see how the defense that year could have been so good. Could have been so good the year we had Gilmore. Right, and I think that year we had Isaiah Rodgers still, right? I think that was the year we had him. So yeah, that defense could have been so good if we had somebody not named Gus Bradley leading the defense. Wish we kept Gilly. Yeah, me too. Could you imagine Gilly on last year's team, even with Gus Bradley calling plays? Gilly on last year's team, especially with all the injuries. But Gilly on one side in either Juju, and when he was out, Jalen Jones was pretty sticky in coverage. I just think, getting Gilly, I think we fumbled the bag not bringing Gilly back this year. I think he was sitting out there. He was waiting. Now, obviously, Skull ends up getting Gilly, so congratulations there. Really wish the Colts had brought Gilly back this year. We have a team that can compete. That would have been, the pitch to him. The money would be the, hey, we really want you. Thought we really should have brought Gilmore back. Right. Doesn't mean the Colts could lose or the Colts upset the Packers. Listen. And Skull's going to like this one. After the game in 2022, where the Colts went into halftime 33-0 up against the Vikings, I will never again just assume that it's impossible for any team to win. Okay? And that's just a fact. Like, when Peyton was the quarterback, like, there was always that thought, it's always possible, but never in my life did I think we would lose that game after being up 33-0. And after that point, there's just no game I can go into where I'm like, guaranteed win. There's no way we lose this game. I've never thought of that since then. I never will, because that blew my mind how we lost that game. Blew my mind. And I will carry that with me for the rest of time. Literally, yes, exactly, Bobby. Gives you PTSD. Yes, will live with me for the rest of time. I will never forget that. So, is it possible we lose? Yeah, 1,000% it's possible we lose. Richardson turns the ball over like 2 times. I think Green Bay wins because Matt LaFleur will design the game. Exactly, yeah, that's what it is protecting the ball. We have to protect the ball just like any other game, right? You want to not turn the ball over, and you want to win in the trenches. That's really what is going to win the game. I want to see more designed runs for AR, especially if he's struggling with the immediate throws. Right, yeah, and I don't know, Yeah, I think I agree. I think we were a little conservative, and rightfully so. Coming off an injury-riddled rookie year, right? Played a short period, but was getting hurt. So I think playing a little conservative with AR running the ball. But at some point when you have to win, just like last week, right? When it was time to win, AR kept the ball and went in for the touchdown. So when it's winning time, I think that'll be the point where it's not being conservative anymore. It's time to go win the game, and AR is going to do what he has to do. Believe it or not, when the Vikings made that comeback versus you guys, I was talking with my nephews to the Ravens game. How you giving up on the game? Yeah, I don't blame you, dude. I would have done the exact same thing. If Colts are down 33-0 in a game, I'm turning it off. I'm not watching anymore. I'm going to go watch something else and try to have fun watching another football team. I would have done the same thing. At a trampoline park, shaking my head, watching the Colts choke that. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy that that's one of those events that people are like, yeah, I remember where I was for that one. Both nephews. Both like the Ravens and Browns, so being a good uncle, I took that 2-hour drive to let them watch their teams for the first time. Oh, that's awesome. Nice. Something I hope to do someday for my niece and nephew. I live in Florida. They live in Indy. But one day, I'm going to surprise them with a trip to Indy with a couple of football tickets, take them to a game. I assume you mean watch parties like multiple people streaming together kinds of things. I've never done anything like that. I stream during the games on Sunday, but I'm very new to streaming. I got the PC just a couple months ago, so I'm very new to streaming. and have never tried anything like that. I'm actually talking to somebody about possibly doing something like that for a different channel and doing something like that and having a different collaboration. But I've never done anything like that before. That had to be the worst loss you guys ever had. It's hard. I don't want to say yes because it's crazy that I could say yes, but we have had tougher losses, and I don't remember the scores right offhand, but the Deflategate game, right? We went to Foxborough and got, completely embarrassed, right? Gronk making our defense look like children. So, and there have been a couple of those. Peyton Manning a couple times in Foxborough, where it got bad. The Colts in Foxborough in December or January just hasn't gone well historically. And those games, bad. But that Minnesota game definitely up there with the others. Hey, if your boy has Twitter, if your boy has Twitter, have him add me at on Twitter with that @ and have him send me a message on Twitter, and we'll see what we can put together. I'm not against getting with people making some good content. You know what I mean? Try to stop by when I can. All right, Si, appreciate you stopping by, brother. Have a good day. If you want to come by tomorrow, we'll be streaming during the game, and we'll be here hanging out. So have a nice day, brother. See you soon. You remember a 22-point comeback versus the Buccaneers in 2002? Yeah. So coincidentally, I was like, let's see. Yeah, I was maybe 11, 12 years old when that game happened. I was watching that game, but, I was young. I had school the next day. So we were getting beat. It looked terrible. We couldn't do anything the entire game. Dominated both sides of the ball. So I turned the game off, right? And it was 11 o'clock. Coming up on 11, and again, had school. I was just a kid. I turned the game off, went to bed. My dad woke me up the next day at 6:45, came in before my alarm went off, and, turned the light on. He woke me up. He was like, "Hey, did you finish watching that game last night?" And I was like, "No, I turned it off to go to sleep." And he was like, "The Colts ended up winning." So, my good memory from that game is that, my dad wakes me up in the morning all excited. And we, sit up. I had a TV in my room. We turn the TV on, and it's already on ESPN because, Monday Night Football on ESPN. And it's already on ESPN, and they're talking about the game, showing the highlights from the game right when we turn the TV on, and able to sit there and watch the highlights of the game and see the comeback from that game. And I was able to see that with my dad, which was pretty cool. So, but yeah, I was watching it live, but fell asleep and then watched the highlights next morning with my dad. Fully into football at that point in time, but man, had to be spectacular. Yeah, stuff like that, like watching Peyton Manning. The Peyton Manning era was incredible because our defense wasn't great in that era too. So there would be times where the defense, would have bad games, and Peyton would just have to pull off miracles. And watching Peyton Manning, that's why Colts fans we're never out of a game, is because of stuff like that. Watching Peyton work was incredible. I know. Getting through some of this other stuff that I wanted to show you guys. Offensive line, again, played incredible. The highest graded guards in week 1, Will Fries 93, Quentin Nelson comes in third at 90.8. Okay, offensive line played incredible. We couldn't run the ball, but in terms of pass protection, incredible job all day long, giving AR time. AR, great pocket presence, able to move himself while still looking downfield. So Will Fries and Big Q doing their thing last week. Really, entire offensive line did really well. Having Braden Smith back and having him fully healthy and looking like himself again is really nice. JD, Josh Downs back at practice. This one was interesting. Get away from that. This one was interesting here. Per Next Gen Stats, the Colts defense allowed 4 yards per carry and a 42.3% rushing success rate when Grover Stewart was on the field. That was 26 carries when Grover was on the field in week 1. That's 4 yards per carry. 42.3% rushing success with Grover Stewart. But they allowed 7.8 yards per carry and a 78.6% rushing success rate when Stewart was off the field. That was 14 carries. On the 26 runs faced with Stewart on the field, 6 of them resulted in a loss or no gain, which is 23.1%. All 14 runs faced when Stewart was off the field gained positive yardage. So obviously having Grover Stewart on the field has a massive impact on how defense defends the run. But nonetheless, the Colts defensive line got absolutely dominated. Now, there were, again, 26 rushes with Grover Stewart on the field that were 4 yards a carry, 42.3% success rate. Of those 26, only 6 of those were for a loss or no gain. So the other of those, to get up to 4 yards per carry, the rest of those were 6, 7, 8 yards or more. Can't have it. Can't let Josh Jacobs do it. Whatever the Eagles were doing to slow down Josh Jacobs for most of that. Again, if you take away Josh Jacobs' largest run against the Packers, he had 15 carries for like 48 yards, 45 yards, something like that. It was right around 3 yards, like 3.2 yards per carry for Josh Jacobs without his biggest rush. Whatever they were doing to slow down the Packers, we have to look at the tape. We have to see how can we slow down this offense and make sure Josh Jacobs in the rushing team doesn't beat us. Pack the box. Make Malik Willis beat you. That's the easiest thing in the world to do. Make Malik Willis beat you, which means not letting the receivers get the ball in their hands. But also, especially early in the game, because you know they're going to want to play conservative with Malik, maybe you play off, right? Because your tendency is to play off. But as soon as the ball is snapped, have your defense be more reactionary. As soon as the ball is snapped, we're coming up on the wide receiver. And if he wants to try to go past us, we'll just play the safeties back, right? So the intermediate part of the field might be a little open. But that short and deep are going to be covered in case they hit a double move and get over the top. Right, and then the safeties can react to that. That's just, and listen, I'm not an NFL defensive coordinator. That is a very simple explanation to a game plan. There's obviously a lot more that goes into it, but that's how I would start things. Right, you know what they're going to want to do. Try to combat that and to adjust to it before the game. And the Colts beat us. So like 15-14, 5 field goals beat us. Yeah, there are a couple different games in the Colts history where it's only field goals. I know we beat Baltimore in the playoffs one year, like 15-9, I think, all field goals. So yeah, we are no stranger to that. I'll die happy Colts fan having seen the Peyton Manning era considering. Oh, yeah, I assume so, yeah. And, I mean, look at what we've been able to do, right? Like, I mean, unfortunately, Andrew Luck retired early, but going from Peyton to Andrew Luck, and, I mean, if Andrew Luck never retires, we never get to Anthony Richardson. So, I mean, we're turning into the Packers in terms of finding quarterbacks. So, I like that. right? Of course, you need AR to stay healthy. You don't want AR to stay healthy or AR to turn in to Andrew Luck, right? Have some injuries happen and then he retires early. You don't want that to happen. So, got to continue to protect our guy. But the history of Colts quarterbacks since Peyton, right? You draft Peyton, then Andrew Luck, Anthony Richardson. Before him, there was a little bit of time with Jim Harbaugh, obviously, but from what I've heard and the history I know of the Colts, like from Johnny Unitas to Peyton, it was tough. You guys won a Super Bowl? Yeah, that is the plus side. We didn't win nearly as many Super Bowls as we should have won with Peyton, but at least we got one. I'm saying to a Lion fan and a Packer fan, hope they show up. Hey, bet, man. And hey, listen, if you're a Lions fan, doesn't want to come to a Colts channel, we have a Lions Syndicate as well. We don't have a Packer Syndicate at the moment, so I don't know what your boy has going on, but hey, maybe we could have a Packer Syndicate soon. But the Lion Syndicate's the guy that created the Syndicate. He has a big channel. He pumps out a bunch of content. Your Lions guy will probably actually like him a lot. Yeah, 100%, Reggie, 100%. Yeah, I'm glad you showed up. I don't know how a Colts channel is show. I assume a Colts channel is showing up on yours just because we're talking about the Packers or because we're playing the Packers. But nonetheless, glad you showed up, man. I like people that come in and are in the chat. Like been sitting here. I've wanted to show you guys some stuff on Twitter, but haven't really even had to. And we're sitting here over an hour. Didn't think this stream would last this long at all, but able to, be able to talk football with people here on a random Saturday is nice. I don't really care about college football, so sitting here talking with you guys, I don't have really much to do today anyways. So, glad you guys are popping in, hanging out, talking football. We've obviously talked a bunch about the Colts, talked about Tua and the Dolphins situation earlier. We've talked about, the Vikings a little bit, Honestly, this has probably been one of my favorite streams. I didn't expect this to go this way, but this has probably been one of my favorite streams so far, man. Appreciate y'all stopping by. I understand how loaded the AFC was back then. We had to go through. Yeah, honestly, man, it's no different now. Like, and the thing is like, the NFC has always been so top heavy. They always have incredible talent, which is why, like, even when the Pro Bowl was the Pro Bowl and they were actually playing the NFC, the AFC always had, the more top line quarterbacks and, a lot of talent spread within the AFC. But the NFC always had, like, the top end of the top end. So they always won the Pro Bowls, right? So, but the AFC has always been the gauntlet, right? Every team you play in the AFC playoffs is hard to beat, whereas in the NFC, there's like two teams every year that are fighting for a Super Bowl. So AFC, the AFC hasn't changed. And it's only getting harder. Bo Nix going to the Broncos, I think he's going to be really good in the future. Sean Payton as his coach, and I think what they're going to be able to build over time, right? You got to think Sean Payton and Drew Brees, they used to get smacked, right? I mean, they had a potent offense, but their defense was historically bad in New Orleans. And then Sean Payton was able to build it over time to be a very successful team. I think Bo Nix and Sean Payton are going to do the same thing in Denver. Obviously, what you have, as you go through the divisions, right? AFC, if Will Levis ends up being good, even if Will Levis isn't good, I don't think he is. And that's not hate towards the Titans. I just don't think he's going to be. He's Carson Wentz. I think Carson Wentz is a great comparison. I compared him to Carson Wentz last season. I think that's a great comparison. Other people are getting on board with that. He's Carson Wentz. But the other three quarterbacks in the AFC, we'll see what Trevor Lawrence does. He's been up and down. And obviously AR has to become more consistent. But AFC South could be loaded with quarterbacks. AFC West, Chiefs. Bo Nix is over there. Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders. Who's the four? Oh, the Chargers with Herbert. They're loaded with good young quarterbacks, and now they have Harbaugh over there. Hey, Maurice, what's up, man? Appreciate you coming in. Appreciate y'all stopping by. I know he said, what was it? One was a Lions fan. One was a Packers fan, I think. Is that what it was? Yeah, Lion and Packers fan. What are you, brother? I don't even remember what I was talking about. I'm not going to lie. Just lost my train of thought. Just ADD'd all the way out right there. Lions fan. Nice. I'm not going to lie. I'm low-key a Lions fan. Back before everybody was on the Lions 2 Super Bowl train last year, I was on the Lions. And actually, fun fact. I got this channel, this particular channel, because the guy that makes the Lions Syndicate, he started the whole syndicate. And I made a video on my old channel, Horseman Sports, a channel where I used to upload content. I made a video about how I thought the Lions could be the team coming out of the NFC, like a dark horse for the Super Bowl. And I made a video about the Colts being a dark horse coming out of the AFC for the Super Bowl. And, of course, didn't foresee Anthony Richardson getting hurt. But he saw that Lions video that I made. And thinking that they could get to the Super Bowl, and we end up, talking a little bit. I end up having this channel and starting this channel last year for the Colts Syndicate, and so that's how I got this whole thing. Is from the Lions Syndicate, and because of my love for the Lions, because Dan Campbell's electric. I think that team is really good. Really enjoy watching that team. I like a lot of the players, like Jahmyr Gibbs, Jared Goff, obviously the Sun God, Jameson Williams. Seems like this is going to be the year he's going to explode. I think I mentioned Dave Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs already. Yeah, the offensive line is dogs. Obviously you have Hutch there, and you guys drafted Terrion Arnold, who I think is going to be really good this year. Would not have been mad if the Colts drafted him. So, as a Colts fan, huge Lions fan, just to say. But if you like hanging out here and you come by here, just know the Lions Syndicate, you'll probably like him. Derek, he's a good dude. He pumps out so much content. He does this stuff full time. And he has a big community over there on Lions Syndicate. Don't know if you know who he is already or not. But he does pump out a lot of content over there. If you want more content, more Lions content, Lions Syndicate is definitely a good place to be. Let's see. I think I'm missing some stuff. Let me scroll up here, make sure I'm not missing stuff from you guys. Oh, that's what we were talking about. The AFC being loaded. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's get back to that. So we were talking about quarterbacks. We've gone through 2 divisions, at least 6 great quarterbacks. And then you go AFC East. Who they have? They currently have Rodgers. In the future, though, Jordan Travis. We'll see what happens with that in the future. Robert Saleh's a trash coach. They're going to have to get rid of Saleh at some point. Maybe Jordan Travis in the future. Obviously, Josh Allen. Drake May looks like he could be good in the future, which could spark up the Patriots-Colts rivalry once again. Drake May versus Anthony Richardson for years to come. Dolphins, we'll see what happens with Tua, who maybe they have to draft another quarterback soon and they get a stud. Who's the other team? Bills, Patriots. Oh, no, that was all 4. Okay, and then so they have some good young quarterbacks. AFC West, AFC North, obviously they have Joe Burrow, who hopefully he's not cooked his wrist. I don't know if there's anything to all the, holding the water bottle. I don't know enough about it. I've heard other people talk about his injury. And I'm just saying I'm a little worried about Joey B. I do like Joey B. I do kind of like that Bengals team. Even though I think Zach Taylor, not the right coach for them to be successful, but with them being in the AFC, I'm cool with it. But Joey B might be cooked, but we'll see there. Obviously, Lamar's in there. Steelers are trying to figure their situation out. And then the Browns, Deshaun looks like he's cooked. Looks like he might be cooked, but they have DTR behind him, and I think DTR is an exciting prospect. So AFC is stacked with talent at the quarterback position still to this day. Let's see. I had just got a big deal at the time. And garage me hard the Colts. I was crushed. Yeah, that's how that generally goes. Well, at least back in the day. I feel like nowadays there are a lot of females that are into football. I know a lot of girls that I work with are Colts fans. Or not Colts fans. They are Dolphins fans. And we were able to talk about football and whatnot. You know, my girl doesn't like football. She's been in a few different places, but lived in Jacksonville for a while. And I'm working on her. Okay, I got her a cold shirt. I'm working on transitioning her. She just she has some stupid reason why she likes it's like doesn't even make sense. Like a total girl reason to like a team type thing. Why she likes the Jaguars. And so I'm working on getting her to be a full-time Colts fan though. So we'll have one more member of Colts Nation soon enough. Hey, before I sub to you with 2 accounts, I followed you on Twitter. About to go. Oh, Skull, okay. Hopefully you're not already gone. If you are, have a good day, brother. I appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you stopping by and hope to see you again. If we're not playing at the same time as the Vikings are, hell, come stop by. We'll be streaming during all the Colts games except for the Steelers game. I'll be at the Steelers game. But all the other ones we'll be streaming. Any of these other streams that we do, man, hey, stop by. Any of the videos, I'll be looking out in the comment section. But appreciate you stopping by, my guy. See, still one Colts starter jacket. Fire, need one. Low key, like as retro Colts fans, some OG Colts fans, like low key need a starter kit. Or the starter jacket from back in the day. Let's see. Hey, Mark, what's up, buddy? See that you're stopping in here. How you doing, brother? Yeah, Lions deserve a Super Bowl 100%. Like, of all the teams that deserve a Super Bowl, the Lions might be like, of all the sports teams in history that deserve a championship, Lions might be the top of the list. You think about everything they've had to endure over the years and how dedicated that fan base has been. This line, I'm sure Maurice would like that. Yeah, you know what? Let me go get a link for the Lions Syndicate real quick. Let me hop over here. Let's see. The Lions Syndicate. Boom. Here we go. Copy. Oops. I forgot I'm showing you guys my whole thing. Yeah, but as you can see, I have a ton of subscriptions. Alright, now let's come back here. Yeah, that's the Lions Syndicate. Again, Derek, he does this full time. Very passionate. He's very passionate. One thing you'll know, he has some videos where he's going in. And yeah, he's a very passionate Lions fan. And has some strong opinions. But he pumps out a lot of good content, man. Really. Anytime I turn on one of his videos, I enjoy watching his content. And hey, listen, if you guys, anybody in here, by the way, you happen to know other other content creators of other teams, hey, let me know, man. We're looking for. We have some decent amount of teams. I think we have maybe 8 or 10 now. The syndicate slowly growing, but we're looking to fill up every single team too. So, you guys have any more suggestions about potential people that could come in and be a part of the syndicate? Don't be afraid to ever let me know that kind of stuff either. Giving us hope. Love Dan Campbell, my kind of guy. Actually, yeah, I would not be mad if Dan Campbell was coach of the Colts. Don't get David Montgomery. Yeah, he's on a couple of my fantasy teams. Big fan of David Montgomery. Rodgers. We'll have a Rodgers here. Rodgers will have a Rodgers year. I assume you're talking about Aaron Rodgers. Did McCaffrey actually get put on the official IR? Mason owners rejoice. Stroud as well. Oh, Jordan Mason. I see what you're talking about. See, they've been so bad for so long. To watch guys like Megatron, Sanders just hang it up. Yeah, honestly, man, that's got to be the worst. Like seeing guys like you said, Barry Sanders, who in my opinion, Barry Sanders is the greatest running back to ever play the game. He just retired early, so he doesn't have the same amount of yards as Emmitt Smith, who played way beyond his years. Just to keep racking up the stats, just like Jerry Rice playing beyond his years just to rack up the stats. But I think Barry's the best to ever do it. He retired early. I think Calvin Johnson is the greatest to ever do it at his position. And he hung it up early like unbelievable to have that. But I also think Andrew Luck could have been the best to ever do it. And he hung it up early. So as Colts fans, we have a taste of that too. Very happy with him. Perfect for AR. Yeah, honestly, Steichen, whatever happens, and people are saying, oh, if Ballard gets fired, Steichen will get fired. Not true. Steichen is a one-of-one head coach in the NFL. A one-of-one head coach. There aren't many one-of-one head coaches in the NFL. We got a one-of-one head coach. I strongly believe that. Whatever happens, he's going to be here. And whatever happens, like if we did have to get a new GM, Shane Steichen would be involved in the process, and it would be a situation where Shane Steichen would be able to work with, whoever he's working, whether it's Jim Irsay or whether it's, Kalen Jackson. I believe that's her name, Kalen Jackson. Whoever he's working with to find a new GM, they would be able to see. Steichen would say, I think I could work well with him. We see the game the same. We could do things, the same way. Whatever the case may be, right? I think Steichen, I'm glad somebody agrees. I've seen a lot of people say if Ballard goes, Steichen goes. I don't think that's the case. I think Steichen's here for the long haul. You keep him here with AR, have him continue to just build this offense in his image, and then Steichen next year, I don't think Ballard has done a bad job of building the team. I think injuries are unfortunate. But I don't think he's done a bad job building the team. I think we have the wrong defensive coordinator and we follow the wrong defensive philosophy. Right? Which isn't to sit here and try to bail out Chris Ballard. I know people think I'm a Chris Ballard apologist, and I have been in the past. But I really do think we have the talent. I just think we play the wrong defense. And I didn't think I'd find a defense that made me miss Eberflus's defense, but once I saw Gus Bradley's defense, it made me understand how much I enjoy Matt Eberflus's defense. Even though I'm not particular to cover two, I actually would rather play the coverages that Gus Bradley likes to play. I would just rather switch things up more and be aggressive more. Like, because there's a place for every coverage, right? There's a place for cover 1, cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. There's a place for it all. Cover 6, cover 9, whatever you're playing. There's a coverage for a lot of different situations. You don't want to be so limited, in my opinion. I know it's hard to go. You can't build a defense really if you play. You have to either build it on 4-3 or 3-4. That's kind of a thing there, and then you switch it up. However, if you play 3-4, 4-3, then your nickel defense is going to be packaged off of that, and your dime and quarters is all going to be packaged off of your base 4-3 or 3-4. But what comes off of that, like, you just have to be able to run more coverages, and he doesn't do more man press coverage, more man in general. And you have to have the guys that can play man as well, but just you have to be able to switch things up, and we don't switch things up. We have the most predictable defense, and it's not even close. There was a chart. I never saved it. I don't know why I didn't save it. Should have saved it so that I could show you guys. But I saw it multiple times in the offense about how predictable the Gus Bradley defense is. And the Gus Bradley defense just doesn't do enough. Matt Eberflus's defense didn't do enough, but Matt Eberflus's defense, like, the principles that they play, makes it good enough that they can make plays, and he lets his guys have some free reign to be able to have the autonomy. That's the word I'm looking for. The autonomy to be able to do different things and go away from what the defense is supposed to do, and make plays so that they can do things to create, turnovers or to make a good stop when you need a good stop. So we just have to be more multiple on defense. And it's gotten to be cliche to say that. You have to be multiple on defense, though. And not to be the amoeba defense. You don't need to be crazy. You just have to do more things. You can't be so predictable. You have to disguise your coverages. Right, if ideally you're going to run a lot of cover 1, 2, and 3 is what you're switching up for a lot. And you're running, when you're running each of those, you have different man principles that you're running in each of those. And you have different principles where, depending on where the alignment is a guy outside or in the slot, or is are they bunched up 2 on this side, or are they running a triple bunch, a trio bunch on this side, and one guy out here, or just a trio over here? Not like, there are different ways to go about running your cover 3 or cover 1 or cover 2. In some of those situations, you're running quarters on one part of the field, cover 2 on one part of the field, and because you have to be able to cover that bunch, but this guy that they have over here, like an Alec Pierce, can cut over the top, so you have to make sure you have that covered, but you want your quarters on it. So there are a lot of different things that you can do, and that conversation, like, that's school. We could go to school on that all day. Like, there are a lot of things, and again, I'm not NFL. I don't have NFL knowledge. I don't know all the things that they know. I just know enough to get how to evaluate the game. And I know that this scheme that we run is really bad. So at some point, Shane Steichen's going to have to get somebody new, and he will. And hell, that might be after the Packers game. Just bringing it all the way back home. If the Packers light us up this week, brothers, we might have a new defensive coordinator for the rest of the season and going forward. After week 1, Gus Bradley might be the hottest seat in the NFL for any executive, any coach. Gus Bradley's at the top. Okay, we're going to skip a post, but I did think that this was interesting. Pro Football Network put out their quarterback grades for week 1, and Baker Mayfield was at the top of everybody with an A. Josh Allen, A-. Derek Carr, A-. Then you have AR here with a B. Now, of course, because of how this looks, and with the guys that are on the top, people are bashing this on the internet. But nonetheless, I think looking at it objectively, I don't think it's terrible. But I mean, the way some of these guys get played, like Mahomes, Stroud, Love, I thought they all played pretty well in week one. So, but I just thought it was interesting. Somebody had Anthony Richardson graded out of B, so I figured I'd show you guys, hey, somebody pumping us up. Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, Reggie. No matter who the players are, no matter who players are, or no matter who the scheme is, players have to execute. It's in this. I don't know. I feel like, okay, you take away last week. We usually are able to stop the run. So typically, we are able to execute in this defense because what this defense is supposed to do is keep everything in front of you and stop it. So we're able to do that, but then you have, right, and we're usually able to be good against the run. But because we play off of guys, teams take what the defense gives them. And so that means teams are going to hit those check downs and hit the screens, and guys are going to get the ball in their hands and be able to make plays and be able to get chunks of, 6 yards, 8 yards, 10 yards, 12 yards, right, and keep it going. So I understand, regardless of the scheme, the players need to make plays. But I don't, that's why I need everybody to understand the predictability of this defense. It is outrageous how predictable the defense does. Any quarterback that knows anything in the NFL knows what we're doing on defense before the snap. We don't disguise. We run a lot of the same stuff. The predictability is the massive liability in this defense. Yes, we're not aggressive, and that's a problem. It's the predictability that's a massive issue for this defense. So it is regardless of scheme, you make plays, right? Robert Mathis says the same stuff all the time. It's not about the scheme. It's about making plays. I get it. And from a pass rush standpoint, that's kind of how it is. It doesn't matter the scheme. You're just rushing the passer. But in terms of everything else, the predictability of the defense makes it really hard to defend against any offense that has anybody that is kind of intelligent. And it's the NFL. These guys are very intelligent when it comes to football. After season over, should Colts fire Ballard? I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if the Colts should fire Ballard. It doesn't look great, but again, I just like to see the defense operate with a defensive coordinator that is willing to be more aggressive and that is willing to run different coverages, right? It's not a coordinator that runs a lot of cover two like Matt Eberflus. Not a lot of cover two and quarters. And then you have Gus, who traditionally runs a lot of cover one, cover three, plays back, keeps everything in front of you. He's mixing in quarters nowadays, but nothing exotic, nothing out of the ordinary. Again, very predictable, very bland, very vanilla offense from Gus Bradley. This was interesting too. I'm a little surprised you got a B. Yeah, being 9 for 19, but 212 and a touchdown and an interception. Don't know how he got a B, but Pro Football Network will do what Pro Football Network does, Double down on DBs, round one. I mean, honestly, yeah. And I haven't done my homework on next year's draft at all. But I just know I don't think there's a bunch of game-breaking quarterbacks coming out next year. I don't think next year's draft is going to be quite like the drafts that we've seen over the last couple of years with as deep as some of them has been. So we'll see. Not anywhere near wanting to do my homework on that yet. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I do have One of the bookmarks that I have saved here on Twitter is a list that somebody put up of cornerbacks that will be available next year. At some point, we will talk about that. What I do want to do is start looking through teams to see if situations where we could possibly go trade for somebody. Somebody that would have to make sense. If you're trading for somebody, it would have to make sense, right? Somebody that could not only help us this year, but for years in the future. So, of course, I'll start looking through that. But yeah, man, getting ready for the Packers. By this time tomorrow, we're going to be 46 minutes into it. Well, about 40 minutes after, national anthem, coin toss, and all that. About 40 minutes into a game. Hopefully, we're winning by this time in 24 hours. So, think we have a good shot. Like, this is a game we should win. We have to win. If we're going to keep pace with the Texans, we have to win this game. Right? So, AR MVP this year, yeah. If nothing else, comeback player of the year. That's right, baby. Time to eat. Time to eat. Tomorrow we strap on the helmet and we get to work, baby. Josh Downs hopefully coming back. Hopefully DeForest Buckner's in the lineup. If we get some news about those guys early enough, I'll try to get a video to you guys before the game. Just a quick update about who we're going to have, who we're not. Something real quick. But nonetheless, we will be live during the game tomorrow. So, please, man, come over, hang out. Yeah, J.C. Horn, that's somebody that I have in my mind about trading for. So, yeah, we'll definitely talk about that soon. But, yeah, man, come hang out during the game. Love having people to hang out with. I feel like when I play the audio, I'm pretty sure YouTube picks up on it and doesn't, give me copyright strike or anything, but shadow ban me. So not going to be able to do the audio, but I will do maybe I'll just play the audio in the back, and maybe you guys can hear, maybe you can't, but I'll just do the play-by-play as we go through that sort of thing, and we'll hang out during the game and do that whole thing. So again, I appreciate you guys so much for coming to hang out with me. I did not expect this to last this long, but for those of you that have been here this whole time, man, thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks for coming to hang out on this Saturday. I don't have many Saturdays where I'm not working my day job. I work in the restaurant industry, so usually I'm working on a Saturday. So usually not able to do this, but again, I appreciate you guys so much for coming to hang out with me. Come hang out tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe with notifications if you're not already. So as we continue to have content every day on this channel, of course, appreciate you guys stopping by for another one of these streams. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.